Nothing could be counted on in a world where even when you were a solution you were a problem. We live in the world, the whole world. Separating us, isolating us, that's always been their weapon. Isolation kills generations. Evil is just sort of ultimately boring. The good thing is just complicated. It's more provocative to me and more stimulating to me. What you do to children matters. And they might never forget. You just can't mishandle creatures and expect success. Tell us what it is to be a woman so that we may know what it is to be a man. Oppressive language does more than represent violence, it is violence, does more than represent the limits of knowledge, it limits knowledge. I'm a believer in the power of knowledge and the ferocity of beauty, so from my point of view, your life is already artful, waiting, just waiting for you to make it art. All water has a perfect memory and is forever trying to get back to where it was. If you surrendered to the air, you could ride it. I don't think many people appreciate silence or realize that it is as close to music as you can get. Correct what you can. Learn from what you can't. At some point in life, the world's beauty becomes enough. You don't need to photograph, paint, or even remember it. It is enough. When you get these jobs that you have been so brilliantly trained for, just remember that your real job is that if you are free, you need to free somebody else. If you have some power, then your job is to empower somebody else. The presence of evil was something to be first recognized, then dealt with, survived, outwitted, triumphed over. You can do some rather extraordinary things if that is what you really believe. Some things you forget, other things you never do. The very serious function of racism is distraction. It keeps you from doing your work. It keeps you explaining, over and over again, your reason for being. I'm not entangled in shaping my work according to other people's views of how I should have done it. What's the world for you if you can't make it up the way you want it? A good man is a good thing, but there is nothing in the world better than a good woman. She can be your mother, your wife, your girlfriend, your sister, or somebody you work next to. Don't matter. You find one, stay there. Hate does that. Burns off everything but itself, so whatever your grievance is, your face looks just like your enemy's. I am in the position of judging people by the best they've ever done rather than the worst. As you enter positions of trust and power, dream a little before you think. I think there's data, and then there's information that comes from data. And then there's knowledge that comes from information. And then, after knowledge, there is wisdom. I am interested in how to get from data to wisdom. It's good you know, when you got a woman who is a friend of your mind. Everything depends on knowing how much, and good is knowing when to stop. Outside, snow solidified itself into graceful forms. The peace of winter stars seemed permanent. And less carefree, mother love was a killer. It's not about choosing somebody over her. It's about making space for somebody along with her. Chloe Anthony Wofford Morrison, born Chloe Ardelia Wofford, February 18, 1931 to August 5, 2019, known as Toni Morrison, the second of 4 children from a working class, black family, in Lorain, Ohio, to Rama Willis and George Wofford. Her mother was born in Greenville, Alabama, and moved north with her family as a child. She was a homemaker and a devout member of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. George Wofford grew up in Cartersville, Georgia. Morrison graduated from Howard University in 1953 with a BA in English. She earned a master's degree in American literature from Cornell University in 1955. In 1957 she returned to Howard University, was married, and had 2 children before divorcing in 1964. Morrison became the first black female editor in fiction at Random House in New York City in the late 1960s. She developed her own reputation as an author in the 1970s and 80s. Her work Beloved was made into a film in 1998. Morrison's works are praised for addressing the harsh consequences of racism in the United States and the Black American experience. The National Endowment for the Humanities selected Morrison for the Jefferson Lecture, the U.S. federal government's highest honor for achievement in the humanities, in 1996. She was honored with the National Book Foundation's Medal of Distinguished Contribution to American Letters the same year. President Barack Obama presented her with the Presidential Medal of Freedom on May 29, 2012. She received the Penn Saul Bellow Award for Achievement in American Fiction in 2016. Morrison was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame in 2020.